Hey guys, my name is Virus, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be dissecting the new trailer that came out for either the April Fool's event or something that they're actually planning in the future for War Thunder. Now, a lot of you might be familiar with how they do these events. Most of the time, later on down the line, War Thunder does eventually see these, or like it'll be a separate game that comes out. So these events usually do end up foreshadowing what is to come for the game. Now, I highly recommend you watch this through yourself before I go through this, because I'm going to be pausing a lot and trying to break down all the weapon systems, what we see, maybe new features, stuff like that. So if you want to just get the full uncut version, there will be a link to this video in the description down below. Now, right off the bat, the first thing we see is this Ferris wheel here. Now, this kind of gives me Pripyat vibes, but I don't know if we're necessarily here. This might just be a fairground, to be honest. It doesn't look too similar, but I mean, it is a Ferris wheel, which is interesting. As per usual with these types of events, especially for April Fools, a custom map will usually come along with these kinds of updates that will eventually make it to the game itself. Not sure how that's going to work when this one's centered around infantry gameplay, presumably, but we'll see. But let's hit play here and keep going. Still more buildings and such. Got some wrecks, static map assets, and then the first thing we see is, of course, this construction sign. No, this is the BMP-2M. A lot of you guys will be familiar with it in War Thunder. I mean, it's just an amazing vehicle. Shoots an APF-SDS and has 4 tandem ATGMs on the side of the turret, I believe, with either 1,000 millimeters of pen or 1,200. I'm not sure, but either way, more than enough to deal with any tanks we might see. Hint, hint. Now here we can see some blown up Gaz Tigers, I believe those are. It's some sort of Russian like MRAP equivalent, I guess you could say. I don't know if these are actually going to be drivable. There are some clips later on in the video that have these in them as well. I can't tell if they're blown up or not, but it could be a good way for infantry to transport around these maps. Another thing to look at is these windows all seem to be open and enterable. I don't know if these are all going to be open buildings, but something to keep in mind. We might have very complicated maps coming into the game. And the most important feature of this update, of course, a D-point that can be attacked. Finally. How long have we been waiting for this to come to the game again? I believe it used to be a thing, but it's back? Potentially? Who knows? And here we go. This is where it starts. Casey Neistat pulls up in his little DJI Mavic and is going to call out these guys. Now, I don't believe this is an FPV drone. This is just like a sort of scout recon, thankfully. But, hold on to your butts, because that might show up later in this video as well.
4 APCs moving towards you from southwest. Over.
There we go. Okay, so now we can see what the maps might look like. So as to be expected, this is pretty reminiscent of Enlisted. With the way that their map spawns work. You know, you've got your line across here and then the caps in the middle. Same with War Thunder as well, but Enlisted sort of has the same system. The other thing is that this looks like an actual infantryman holding this up, almost like an ATAC or some sort of equivalent, which is almost like a Samsung phone that militaries use that have a Blue Force tracker on them so you can track all your infantry. For example, we can see a heavy tank marker down here. I don't know if that's anything special. We've got like a whole bunch of vehicles, I presume. One interesting thing is you don't see any infantry marked on this, unless these are infantry markers. I don't know if they are. I'm kind of curious that you can't see any infantry markers. I figured if this was a Blue Force tracker, you would have been able to see them.
Roger. Everything's ready.
And here we go. This looks like an M4 carbine of some sort, some M4 variant, and I believe this almost reminds me, this launcher to the right here, it almost reminds me of the Palmetto, I think it's the Palmetto State Armory. It's like an RPG with a bunch of Picatinny on it for some reason. So if you want to swag out your RPG, you can. It's like an American thing. I'm Canadian, so I don't really fully understand this. I think it's hilarious, though. And then I think in the background, this is either maybe an M249 SAW or something like that. And then also to its left, this almost looks like a DMR of some sort. Maybe an M110 RSAS. I can't really tell exactly what it is. If you guys know, by the way, any of these things that I'm pointing out, feel free to let me know in the comments, but I'm just doing my best guess at the moment. You can see him loading up the RPG. I believe these are supposed to be quote-unquote NATO PMC forces, so it seems like they all use RPGs. As you can see, the BMPs definitely work. And then we've got our first view. I'll Move forward a little bit, see if we can get a better view of what they're actually rocking. So this guy looks like he's got a PKP of some sort, and then maybe some AK-12s. We'll keep going. There we go. Okay, so this is definitely an AK-style platform. Almost looks like a 45-round drum. That is a magazine. That is a massive magazine. And then you've got the GP25 underslung grenade launchers. So does that mean that there's going to be grenadier kits coming in? Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. I think that that's going to be certainly something interesting. I'm not sure if Enlisted has the sort of barrel mount. You know, the M1 Garand with that barrel-mounted grenade launcher that the Americans used in World War II. I wonder if that mechanic is going to come over to this with the underslung GP25s. Oh, another thing is that they, I'll go back a little bit because I do want to see this for myself. It almost looks like there's map destruction here. I don't know how to go back by frame, but this is clearly destructible. There seems to be a blockage of some sort of debris, and then they blow it open. Not sure if that was a grenade, breaching charge, who knows. And here we can see I can't tell if that's an AK-12 or an AK-74. It's definitely some variant of that. And then obviously you got the PKP or PKM. I can't tell exactly which variant that is either. Okay, so this looks like an AK-74. Definitely not an AK-12. It doesn't have the rail system. But as you can see, blasting some random poor guy. LMGs clearing through. And then, of course, we've got to have combined arms. So this is an Apache with interesting rocket effects. These are not the War Thunder rocket effects when firing. Obviously lighten up the BMPs in the road, but this... I can't see any Hellfires on those pylons. Maybe we'll get a better view. Those just seem to be the Hydras. This is obviously a man pad. I believe this is the Russian soldier or the Russian PMC, whatever you want to call it. With presumably an Igla of some sort. So we'll have man pads to defend ourselves. I'm pretty sure this is the AK-12 here. Stippled magazine and also an underslung grenade launcher on this as well. Some sort of bolt action there? I can't really tell from this scope. It almost looks... I can't tell who we're shooting at here. I'm gonna assume that this is some sort of Russian sniper rifle or marksman rifle of some sort, considering that there is a Leopard 2A4 in the background here. I cannot tell what those guys are rocking in the back, unfortunately, in terms of kit. Oh, and the other thing, I'm going back a little bit. The other thing I forgot, this guy's shooting he has quad nods on, the GPNVGs. These are extremely expensive in real life and kind of rare. They might be more common now, but you don't really tend to see these, especially in the middle of the day. I don't know why you'd be wearing them on your head like this, because they're probably extremely heavy. Not to mention, you wouldn't want them to break in an active firefight, but alas, I don't know. But this could potentially mean that there might be a night battle variant. We'll have to see, but we'll skip back ahead here. I just thought I'd point that out. Okay, obviously we've got an I presume M3A3 here. You probably want the modern versions of the Bradley in these kind of combat situations. Still can't really tell the kit. Those do look like Hellfires actually on the inside pylons of that Apache, which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure if we're going to have standoff munitions. Yeesh. Here we got a T-90 engaging a 2A4 who's clearly dejected and has given up because he has no infantry support anywhere. The D point, of course, behind him. I don't know, this might be a Pripyat-inspired map because this Ferris wheel's popping back up. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you guys know, but I'm not entirely sure. This is a pretty iconic image, and I feel like if you're going to show a Ferris wheel like this, it's in Pripyat, right? Oh, actually, let's go back and we'll take a look at the ammunition. So this guy's got 20 heat. Okay, so this looks like the normal War Thunder UI. You even have crew replenishment on. And artillery as well. Important to know, and infantry are going to hate that, I can already tell. But interesting to see that it's pretty identical to the way War Thunder... I don't know if this is going to be the same way in the event, but... Alright, we've got Mi-24s flaring. This guy's about to get smoked. I cannot tell what this is, but this looks like a saw, so I'm assuming these are... Oh, here's another Gaz Tiger burned out while we're on the topic. So it looks like these might just be map assets, unfortunately. That's an M4, and we've got some 105 Abrams. Interesting. These are not 120mm barrels, that's for sure. Which means I can only assume these are the early variants of the Abrams, which is kind of funny. Going up against the T-90s and whatnot, and 2A4s, but I guess the 2A4s are kind of around the same time too, right? I'm not sure when the first T-90 came out. Anyway, just interesting that these are the 105 variants and not the 120s or the Tusk, especially. The Tusk, dude, the SEP V2 in this environment, it's what it's built for. How have they not added this? And this is interesting. We've got some sort of thermal optic in the game. I think he unscopes here. Let's see if I can get an image of what that is. I don't know if I'll be able to tell. Ugh. I am not sure what gun this is. It's definitely a DMR. I don't think it's a bolt action, because he doesn't seem to rack it at all. I don't know what this means. I'm going to have to translate this. Hold on. Okay, according to Google Translate, this means Sariga is alive. I don't know what that is. I hope I didn't just say something bad. But obviously, this is a Frogput Su-25 conducting CAS. Got an AK-12 on this guy's back. This guy was using an M4 carbine of some sort. M4 in general. No nods this time, but active hearing protection. Very interesting. Let's see. Can I see anything here? This guy's conducting first aid. So it looks like the same animation that Enlisted uses when you're healing yourself. So probably a lot of assets brought over from that. But he's definitely conducting aid in the field. Wait a minute. Alright, now I'm confused. So this guy's got an M4. This guy is doing the longest stride in the world with an AK-12, presumably, with that underslung again. That guy's got a saw in the background. So these must be PMCs of some sort. I don't know. This almost looks like... I'm very confused how this is going to work. These guys do not look like they should be buddy-buddy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's just the average War Thunder teammate and completely oblivious to the guy beside him, but who knows? Awesome shot of oh no, here we go. Okay, well, first off, this is a really cool shot. I gotta give credit to whoever did the cinematic. That's sick. But here we can see this man pulling out a polar bear on his ATAC, calling in a kamikaze drone, or more colloquially known as an FPV drone. Press left click to start. I don't know where this guy's mouse is, but I guess he's got a mouse plugged in somewhere. And yeah, there we go. Next, we've got an F-16. I'm just going to ignore the FPV part because I think it's going to be the worst part of the game, or addition to this mode, whatever it's going to be. But next we have the F-16s. Looks like only 2 AIM-9Ls on the side here. I think maybe he's already shot his other 2 pylons off, but this, yeah, because this guy's got 4. So presumably AIM-9Ls, because those look like saws. This looks like a non-smokeless motor. That's why I'm guessing that these are AIM-9Ls. Could be completely wrong. I'm not an air guy. Got another view of the Frogfoot. Let's see what it's rocking. So only the either S5s or S8K rocket pods. I can't remember which ones these are. No bombs, interestingly, rather. Huh. I wonder if they've gimped CAS a little bit because it's just going to obliterate all the infantry. Who knows? And he gets smoked by the AIM-9L, goes down. Oh, hold on. That was bolt action. Can I get... Oh, I'm not going to be able to tell. Well, I can tell he's got the Schmidt and Bender PM2, which is in Tarkov. It's an interesting scope, very high power. This is, I'm going to guess, either M40, M24, or maybe an L96? Or it's a Russian sniper, and I just can't tell. But interesting to note that bolt actions are coming and confirmed. F-16, there's a T-90. These are wrecked Abrams. Of course, there's that guy blowing up, I believe, yes, so this is a T-90 getting blown up by an RPG with a bunch of Picatinny on it, which is, once again, hilarious. But it seems like there's no real country factions. It seems like everybody's got a smorgasbord of kit, but I honestly might be okay with that. It'll be a little less politically charged, and I am 100% a fan of that, given the current state of the world. Honestly, I'm just here to have fun. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I could think of. If there's something that I missed in the video, feel free to leave a comment down below. I don't usually make these types of reaction videos, but I figured I would because I know a little bit more about weapon platforms than the average Joe. I'm by no means a pro, but for sure, like guns and whatnot, I can tell you a little bit more about what they're going to be using. But that being said, I am very interested in this game mode. The one thing that I did notice is that in the actual blog post, they said that we're starting off with World War I. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure World War I was not rocking quad nods and Igla man pads shooting at Apaches. I could be completely wrong in that, but I don't know. Maybe presumably it'll roll out days in like the days to come. They'll like go through the eras, maybe. I'm not sure. Or this is just an announcement for something coming way in the future, and this is not actually the April Fool's event that I was hoping it would be, because I really want to get my hands on this. I think this is going to be awesome. I have always wanted an infantry experience in modern War Thunder, especially after they started adding stuff like the Abrams and the T-72s and the T-90s and whatnot. I always thought that it could be such a cool thing to explore, and with them having enlisted to back it up, they have experience from that. I'm just disappointed that it seems like we might not get this immediately, so I'm fingers crossed hoping that we can get something like this in the near future, in the coming days. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if I missed anything. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.